What is up, people? What is up? Hope you're all doing well. I've had some pretty crazy theories over the past couple of days because I've had a lot of coffee and a lot of time to think about said crazy theories, especially when it comes to all of you OpTic fans out there. You might just like this one. You really might. I talked about Mbos last week being a free agent. Really didn't have a theory around that one. I talked about Teep or TP, however you do pronounce it. Some OpTic fans get pretty angry based off how you do pronounce the former OpTic COD coach himself and his future. I did predict he'll be going full-time streaming and maybe not going to be the coaching role for Call of Duty League. We'll see if that one comes true. This third one, though, likely actually my favorite. That's going to be around Nick. Many of you guys know him as Maniac himself, and I think he might be returning to professional esports as soon as Halo returns to a franchise league. I would say return, but they never had one before, but I mean return to the public eye out there, because there's been so much disconnect between Halo and the pro time that Halo had, and over the past few years, really where has it been? Yes, we have recognizable organizations who took part a little bit, but I would say a fair fall off in terms of public recognizing, a viewership, I would say, when Halo has actually been relative. It's been quite some time. Now, with this, though, I do have evidence for all of you guys. It actually goes back a few weeks where Nick or Maniac straight up says, you know what, fudge it, guys, I want to go pro again. And with Maniac, I'm sure many of you guys are well aware, if you know his demeanor, his personality, his content upload schedule, you got to take a lot of things he says with a sheer grain of salt, right? It could be misleading, he could be trolling, joking, and it maybe just could not happen whatsoever. So let's leave those options open. But as he does continue, just about last week or a little later than that as well, he does continue to tweet out things that kind of allege towards maybe a future something coming up with the signing the contract tweets. And even then, guys, most recently as well, apparently he did announce kind of a more sad tweet as well for all us OpTic fans out there. The remainder of the former OpTic apartment / house content guys, Big T and Flamesword and Mbos and Nick and the guys themselves have now officially parted ways, and we'll be going separate ways in terms of housing entirely, which albeit is very sad, but he does end that same thread with apparently a next journey is coming sometime soon. And I do truly think, especially when it correlates, and hopefully it does, to signing a contract or maybe being an esports pro player yet again for Halo, I think it correlates, guys. And Nick, yes, Nick Kirshner / Maniac, I think he could be returning to esports, and it could be really good timing. And some of you out there might just think, Jake, you're kind of insane right now. And ironically enough, I'm talking about Maniac, and I'm also coming off as a little bit insane, but I think it does actually make a lot of sense with what's been announced so far. We actually had Halo Championship Series Insider, that's Moses. Now, he was kind of incorrect with this tweet, although he did put it out there about a potential, possibly 2020 franchise league coming for Halo. Although this has not come to fruition in full, Halo Championship Series, I think it was actually the next day, they did have an announcement for a roadmap of their competitive scene. Now, with all of this being said, their main aims are to actually continue their partnerships with players, with orgs, with teams out there. Maniac could very well be one of those returning pro players, and they also laid the roadwork of future events, tournaments, trying to get online viewership back as well. And at some point during 2020, they want to release a year's worth of roadmapped events. That way, pros can actually plan out their careers, much like many pros in other esports have struggled to do so, especially when it comes to tournament organizers and talent. They're on the road half the time, never know what event is actually happening when. Apparently, Halo, though, wants to plan out 12 months ahead of time. That way, pro players, TOs, alongside analysts and talent and desk help, they all know exactly where to go. And all of this around the same time where Maniac is saying he wants to come back and be a pro again? Huh? Suspicious? And then, guys, the third point, I gotta have several points to back it up, because I know a lot of you guys are probably gonna negate me in the comment section down below, and I welcome you to try and debate me on this as well. Very lastly, most recently, all tied together, Halo Reach has now announced its return as well, also being added to Steam this December. What a perfect opportunity for Halo to possibly franchise. I still think that's probably going to be a bit of a far-fetched statement, but either way, when it comes times for actual competitive nature, this does bring back at least a few eyes out there of the old day Halo fans, myself being included. So I think all of this is being very well timed. I've seen other few pro players out there say they could be making returns, or at least feel like they are a part of this life yet again, and Halo competitive still has a future. I still also think in general, with the disconnect being so far, Halo has a very hard chance to actually come back to the public eye. I'll be honest about that, but if they were to come back in terms of a big shock announcement, a franchise / competitive league out there would certainly be an announcement you would probably need to have, especially alongside Halo Reach also finally coming back. Now, there are obviously many other changes that would have to be made to have them stand a chance here, but along with that, you look at the franchise prices for a lot of esports out there, they are shockingly high. You look at Overwatch, you look at, of course, you look at League of Legends and Call of Duty, how 20+ million at the bare bones minimum for the cheapest of those spots, usually $30 million plus as well. You look towards other leagues and other games out there who could be franchising. Those rumors, they don't stop. Rocket League could be one of them. CSGO could be one of them. Alongside that, Crossfire, they did a franchise league. By the way, their buy-in price for Crossfire, which actually gets pretty decent viewership, only 1.5 million for a spot. It actually makes a lot of sense. And if Halo could do something just like that, I think this could maybe work. So all of this coming together, guys, it might be far-fetched, but it seems too oddly timed all within a few weeks or the same month. All of these announcements have now been made. Maniac, other pro players possibly coming back to being pro players in esports, which we do attain to be, possibly Halo. Alongside that, HCS have now announced a roadmap to be worked on to bring back competitive events and online events and just a heavy tournament setting to bring back viewership. Halo Reach is now re-announced alongside that, added on Steam. Huh? It just seems like it's all coming together, and I could be completely wrong, but I hope I'm completely right on this. The ultimate question, though, if it even does come together, what's the buy-in price? What organizations and what teams do come together? And very lastly, will it even work is a gigantic mystery, but I love theory crafting, okay? I should literally have a series on this channel called Jake's Insane or something along those lines. I think Maniac could be coming back to the esport, guys, and that esport could be Halo, which could be franchise leaguing sometime very soon. Maybe. Until next time, I hope you guys all enjoy. And then I'll see you back here sometime soon. Wait, no. And I'll see you all back here sometime soon. Okay, bye.